We will be working to complete the end of module review. That starts on page 51. If you're sitting down at the video, you should already have all of those things. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to work number 2. We're going to work some of the even problems, okay? So we're going to start with number 2. Number 2 asks the directions for that part say rewrite each addition problem using the commutative property or the associative property of addition, and then solve. Written up here just on the top, it says that the commutative property is changing the order of addends. That does not change the sum. You're going to use the commutative property if there are two or more, or if there are two addends. You can use the associative property if there are more than one. So we have two addends. So we're going to use the commutative property to do what the directions say. We're going to use the commutative property. We're going to switch the addends around. So the problem is 5 plus 8, and we're going to do 8 plus 5. So 5 plus 8 is 13, and so 8 plus 5 must be 13. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to number 4. Number 4 is 9 plus 2. There are two addends, so we're going to use the commutative property again, which means when we change the order of the addends, it does not change the sum. So we're using the commutative property, and we're going to find that 9 plus 2, which is 11, is the same thing as 2 plus 9, which is 11. Now we're going to move on to problem number 6. In your book, problem number 6 says, write the number using words. So there is a 5 in the thousands place, an 8 in the hundreds place, a 3 in the tens place, and a 6 in the ones place. So as we get ready to write those in words, that's 5,836. So what does that look like when you put it all together on your paper? I would like you to write on your paper the answer, which looks like this. 5,836. And there should be a dash between the 30 and the 6. So this number written in word form is 5,836. You take a couple of seconds to go ahead and write that, please. The number that you should be writing the word form for this number here, and that's 5,836. I'm going to move on to number 8. Number 8 asks that we write the number using words also. So we look, and there's a 3, a 1, a decimal point, a 0, a 7, and a 3. So that's 31, and when you see the decimal point, you say and, so that's 31 and 73 thousandths. So if you go ahead, and what does that look like when you write it all out? What's that going to look like on your paper? I'll zoom it out a little bit to make sure you will be able to see. But as you write it on your paper, you should have 31 and 73 thousandths. So this number, I'm going to keep on writing while you go ahead and write the correct answer for number 8. 31 and 73 thousandths. 31 and 73 thousandths. Thousandths. And what does that actually look like written together? I'd like you to have this written. 31 and 73 thousandths. Okay? We should be just about ready to move on to number 10 should be what we do next. Okay? You should be finished writing that. I'm going to go ahead and turn the page so we can get ready to do number 10. Now, number 10 gives us the word form, and they ask that we write it using digits, which means we're going to write it in standard form. So they say in digits, but in your class you have heard it called standard form. We're going to write it from word form and take it from word form and write it in standard form. So what we have is 76,421. 76,421. We're going to need to write that in standard form. That means we're going to have, this comma tells us we're going to have two periods. We've got the thousands period and then the ones period. So 76,000 is going to be a 76, and then a comma, and then we write 421. So this number in standard form is the same as this in word form. 7 in the 10,000s place, 6 in the thousands place, 4 in the hundreds place, 2 in the tens place, 1 in the ones place. This is this number in standard form. Let's move on to number 12. They want us to write this number in standard form. It says 3 and 14 hundredths. 3 and 14 hundredths. Our whole number is going to be a 3. There's going to be a decimal point. We're not going to have anything in the tenths place. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to have a 1 in the tenths place and a 4 in the hundredths place. So what I said again, I said it, I stumbled over it, but 3 in the as a whole number, a decimal point for and, 1 in the tenths place, 4 in the hundredths place. And what we have here is 3 and 14 hundredths. That is this number that we have in word form. This is it written in standard form or as digits. Okay, we're going to look on number 16 where they're going to add, number 14, I'm sorry. Number 14, we have another number that we're going to write as write from word form to standard form. And what they give us is 100 and 1,000th. So the whole number is 100. Then there's a decimal point. And now we have to go out to the thousandths place with the number that we write. So what does that look like? Here's 1 and 1,000th, because that's the tenths place, the hundredths place, the thousandths place. 1 and 1,000th. Okay? Now, all these things as I talk you should be writing as I talk to make sure that you have the same thing, because in a few minutes you're going to be set free to go ahead and work the same problems. I mean, to work the odd numbers or whatever numbers I provide for you at the end. So number 16 asks us to compare. Compare the numbers. That means they want to know greater than, less than, or equal to. So we have 35,962,132. Then we have 35,961,978. We have 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 digits in this number. We have 8 digits in this number. And we'll start comparing here. Both of them have a 3 in the 10 millions place. Both of them have a 5 in the millions. Both of them have a 9 in the 100,000. Both of them have a 6 in the 10,000. But if you look in the thousands place, this number has a 2 and this number has a 1. So we're looking at the number in the thousands place to decide which one is greater. And the 2 is greater than the 1. So this number is greater than this number. We're going to look at 18, and they want us to compare these numbers as well. 6 and 9 thousandths, 6 and 100th. Which one is more? Okay, if you look, they have the same whole number, 6. We're going to keep on moving. Both of them have zeros in the tenths place. So we move over to the hundredths place. There's a 0 in this hundredths place. And there's a 1 in this hundredths place. 1 is greater than 0. So this number, 6 and 100th, is greater than 6 and 9 thousandths. So we're going to draw that symbol right there. Okay? Let's move on to number 20. And for number 20, they want you to put these in order from least to greatest. There are 3 numbers that they have. They have 752, they have 821, and they have 777. The lowest number, if you look in the hundreds place, we know that this is going to be the greatest number just because it's bigger. It has a bigger number in the hundreds place. So then we have to decide, is 752 less than or greater than 755? So we're going from least to greatest. We move over to the second number. This 5 is lower than the 7, so the 752 goes first. 777 goes next. 821 is next. Okay? The next one asks us to, number 22, asks us to round each number to the place indicated. So as you round, don't forget 0 to 4 stays the same. 5 to 9 goes up 1. They want us to round to the 10,000s place. So we look back at the thousands place. The 9 falls under 5 to 9. That means that the 8 goes up 1. That means we write the 3, we write a 9 right here, and all the rest of these become 0, 0, 0, 0. Well, what did you say, Mr. Green? That's so confusing. The 9 makes the 8 go up 1. The rest of the numbers behind that become a 0. 390,000 is how you round this number. 389,264 rounded to the 10,000s place is 390,000. You look at the 8 is the place you want to round to, so you go back a place. If this number is between 5 and 9, then you go up, then you take this number up 1. This number is a 9, so this number goes up 1. Everything else becomes a 0, 390,000. Let's move on to number 24. Number 24 asks that we round to the place value indicated as well. So we're rounding to the 10th place, so we have to look at the 100th place. We look back at that rule, there's a 4. 0 to 4 means that the place that you're rounding to stays the same. This number is a 4, so this number stays the same. Everything else becomes a 0. So 345 thousandths rounded to the 10th place is 3/10. The 4 makes the 3 stay the same, so it's 3/10. Make sure that you can't, I know you're not going to be able to write all of these things these notes that I'm writing, but when I get down to the answer part, make sure that you write the answer, because that's the part that you are also going to need. Some of these are review things that you have done before, that we've done before, that you've done with me, that you've done with Ms. Nelson, that you've done in your class. So these are review things, and what I want you to do is make sure you have the answer so that when I release you to go ahead and write these, you'll know what to do. Now we're going to do number 26. That's 6 975 thousandths. Pay attention to this one. We're rounding to the 10th place. We have a 7 in the hundredths place. The 7 makes the 9 go up. Okay? So pay attention. The 7 makes the 9 go up. 9 goes up to 10, but we cannot put two numbers right here. So you put the 0 and carry the 1. That makes the 6 go up to 7. So the answer is 7. That's a very quick explanation of that. You've seen some of that before. So again, if you have to round the 9 up, then that makes the number to the left of the 9 move up even further, okay? So 6 975 thousandths rounded to the 10th place goes up to 7. And the reason is the 7 makes the 9 go up. The 9 goes up to 10, but you can't put two numbers there. So that makes the 6 go up to 7. And so 7 is the answer to number 26. Now, that's the first 26. What I want you to do is to go back and do the odd problems on page 51 and 52. You're going to have about 20 minutes to do the odd problems on page 51 and 52.